IGN has just released some new gameplay footage of Sons of the Forest, the sequel to The Forest, a survival horror game, and though I am a massive scaredy cat, I loved the survival elements of The Forest, and with the sequel slated for the 23rd of February, you can expect us to be covering it on this channel. The game is set in a forest on an island where players take on the role of a survivor who must navigate through the wilderness while being pursued by hostile mutated creatures and cannibals. The players must scavenge the resources, build shelters, and also craft weapons in order to survive. And one thing to bear in mind with this game is that the game features a day-night cycle, with the creatures becoming more aggressive at night. You'll also have to be careful where you explore early, because doing so may unleash various tribes into your area, which we'll talk about briefly in a moment, which might actually be helpful to you. This new gameplay gives us a much better idea as to how the game will play out once we find ourselves stranded on this island, which is now, surprisingly, 4 times larger than the previous game. That is quite a big change. And when a game states that the map is 4 times larger, I immediately worry about whether that is a good or a bad thing. If it's just a larger playing field, it'll just be bland. But I've got to say that the world is looking amazing. I can't wait to build large settlements in the varied terrain areas. And more interestingly, there'll be seasons as well as the changes in weather, which will keep the world feeling fresh throughout. And yes, I am actually a tad concerned that I'll be paying more attention to the beauty of the world around us than trying to survive and build a settlement to live in it. I mean, look at the luscious forests and tranquil waters that reflect along the lake banks. I'm just thinking right now how beautiful building there could look. Now, one of the biggest takeaways from the video for me was the short clip of logs flowing down the river. These river mechanics could be invaluable to us depending on how building is implemented, and I can't wait to find ways in which we can make item collection less time consuming with that, which actually brings us to the second point: followers. Now, we've seen in previous trailers Virginia and also what looks like NPCs leading us into various missions, but they've now confirmed a follower system, which will be available from the beginning of the game, with Calvin, an elite soldier who suffered from major head trauma, presumably from when the helicopter crashed on the island. Though at first I did think it was this guy in the first trailer, I do believe, who covers his ears when the other guy is using the shotgun just above him. But the hair's different, so probably not the same guy. Now, Calvin can help with resource production and also with combat, though he will go off to drink water or take the occasional rest. And if you do treat him well, he may be very helpful. But if you don't treat him particularly well, he will actually become less productive, which is a nice addition to the game. Also, with him being an elite soldier, I wonder if that means that he has a bonus when it comes to combat, whereas perhaps Virginia's got a different trait. I don't know, just guessing there. But I definitely think that this system seems a bit more responsive and helpful versus followers that we know from other games. I'm not just trying to pick on you, Bethesda, but hey, it does seem to be quite a fresh look at it. Now, if you don't want his help though, you can always kill him and he will be out of your game forever. But with the various tribes in the game willing to dismantle your base whilst you're away, it might be worth keeping him to stay guard. Of course, unless you'd like Virginia to help out instead. But that also raises the point: will we be able to host multiple followers in a single game? Could we have them all in our little settlement? If not, it doesn't really matter too much, because I'm going to be looking to take on a band of merry men myself to help me, as the game will be supporting up to 8 players in the game at once. Well, one thing from the forest which I thought was incredible was the way that the AI responded to us, and the AI behavior has also been improved from the forest, which is terrifying in itself, as their ability to bluff me and ambush me never stopped me from feeling unsettled. At this time though, there'll be tribes that you can set off against one another, which could be potentially helpful if you do it strategically. There'll also be leaders who can inspire other AI to do their bidding, but this also suggests that by killing the leaders, you may force the enemy to rout. Now, since the forest, the game has always been incredibly immersive, and End Night has gone to great lengths to improve on that. Build mechanics have changed from the hologram system to a more natural placement system, where you carve out the building as you go along. And I can't wait to give this a try, because this hints at the game being much more freeform when it comes to our creativity, something that truly excites me. And then we have the survival mechanics, which have been matched with new animations to make the game that much more immersive, whether that's creating weapons, eating food, or building. The system that they had developed for the forest may have been simple, but it was done to perfection. And looking at the trailers, I can only perceive that the improvements they've made since then is going to be groundbreaking when it comes to the immersion of survival games, and something that many survival crafting games should really look on for inspiration. And for that, I really cannot express how excited I am to give this a go, though I do take these kinds of trailers with a little bit of salt. First, we need to get our own hands on it so that we can make our decision. And that in itself concerns me, because though we have the release date stated for next month, the 23rd of February, we haven't heard much more than that. Yes, we've had this gameplay that's just come out and I'm really excited for it, but End Night seemed to be very quiet about this. If I were them, I would be shouting about it being released next month, but then again, they like to concentrate on developing the game rather than publicizing it. And to be fair, I think this is going to be an absolute cracker. It just does leave me wondering that, are they going to push it back a little bit further? Regardless, I am so excited for this. But if you are looking forward to this particular game, let me know in the comments below. And if you're new to the channel, if you've just seen our channel for the first time, and you are excited for some Sons of the Forest content, then make sure to subscribe, as we'll be covering it from the get-go. But we shall leave it there. For now, thanks goes to all of our amazing supporters, most notably our Solarclipse patrons, James Irwin, Firefest, Trevor, and Beowulf, as well as our Lunars, the Calamity, Ben, Star, Shoku, the MN Wolf, and that dude AW, as well as our Blood Moon of the day, which today is Chick Norris. Until next time, as always, ciao for now.